The earth is shaking, the storm is raging, and the war is spreading all over the world. Natural disasters are devastating the city, and political tension is at a dangerous level. The world seems to be at the brink of chaos. Wherever you look, the signs of the end are becoming more and more clear. For centuries, the Bible has warned that there will come a time when the world will face unimaginable trials. It is the day when war, famine, disease, and death will sweep over the land. The 4 Knights of the Muxilog, the symbol of this disaster, are driving destruction and are getting closer and closer. And now, we ask, looking at the political chaos, environmental disasters, and the escalating global conflict, are we living in the last days of the Bible prophecy? Let's take a look at these scary Bible prophecies and find out if the world events of today are surprisingly similar to what we predicted for the near future of the Bible. Can 2025 be the year when these prophecies begin to come true? Let's check it out together until the end. The appearance of the Antichrist. Revelation 13. A leader arises from the abyss of chaos. He promises peace, but his heart is full of evil. He draws the loyalty of both the state and the individual with his amazing power and deceit. He is a person who symbolizes corruption and rebellion against God, which the Bible warns. Revelation 13 introduces a leader with charisma and authority to persuade the world to take power. The Antichrist is described as a person who deceives mankind under the pretext of unification and peace and makes them stay away from truth. His rule will be characterized by blasphemy, deceit, and iron fist rule. The Antichrist is often seen as a person of the distant future, but many people believe that the beginning of his appearance is already witnessing the end. Today, we are seeing a political movement that transcends the boundaries of the country, weakens the sovereignty, and promotes global unification. World leaders demand international cooperation, a new world order, and a solution that must sacrifice individual freedom. These developments are preparing a stage for a powerful figure to claim that he has the answer to the deepest crisis of mankind. The world has already seen the appearance of political figures who have tremendous influence. Some of them talk about world peace and unification, but their actions and policies instigate division and conflict. Is the Antichrist a leader who promises prosperity but also leads the world to destruction? The warning of the Bible is becoming more and more clear as the year goes by. The 666 signs and the global control system. The Revelation 13, chapter 16 to 18. I am so afraid here, because it is so similar to the signs of the beast. It is so similar to what the Bible says. You can't trade. You can't do anything. If you don't have that ticket, you can't do anything. Imagine a world where all financial transactions, all movements, and all decisions you make are monitored and controlled. It is time for you to buy food, travel, or even take a simple action to go to work. This sign indicates that you are completely submissive to the global control system. The Revelation 13, chapter 16 to 18 says that you can't trade unless you get a ticket with the number 666 on it. This sign indicates that you are completely submissive to the Antichrist and that you will be a part of his world order. If we look around us today, we can see that technology is rapidly developing and conditions for this prophecy to be fulfilled are already in place. Digital currency is becoming more and more common, and some countries are trying to get rid of cash completely. Life recognition technology such as face recognition and fingerprint recognition is now commonly used. Microchip development has already begun to store personal and financial data. This microchip is presented as convenient, but in fact, it has the potential to completely monitor and control. We are entering a world where personal information protection is becoming a thing of the past. Governments and companies are increasingly using technology to monitor and control individuals' actions. Social credit systems are being introduced in some countries, and universal digital identity can become a reality in other countries. The infrastructure for the global control system is quietly being built. In this system, the signs in the Revelation can become a reality. It will become a digital identifier that determines whether you can participate in the economy. The 666 prophecies of the Bible are not just religious warnings. It is a declaration of the world that mankind is creating. In other words, it is a world where one being has the power to decide who can use resources and who cannot, and loyalty to that being is the problem of survival. The time of peace is over. Countries gather in the Middle East, and the armies of the world gather in Israel. The land of God's covenant will be the battlefield of good and evil. In Megiddo, the power of light and the power of darkness will have a final battle. In Revelation 16, verse 16, we read the scene of the countries gathering in Armageddon. This final battle will determine the fate of mankind. This place, known as the Plains of Megiddo, was the scene of many ancient battles, but in the Bible, it symbolizes the final battle. The Bible says that the kings of the land will be led by the Antichrist and will gather there to wage war with the armies of heaven and the messengers. The importance of this prophecy cannot be ignored. In particular, the political and military tension surrounding Israel becomes more clear. The Middle East has always been the center of conflict, but in recent years, the situation has worsened. Religious disputes between countries and Jerusalem are intensifying. The Bible prophesied a long time ago that Israel would be at the center of the world's final conflict. Today, we see this prophecy coming true. Countries that once opposed Israel are now allying with Israel, and other countries are publicly hostile. The powerful nations of the world are still fighting for the fate of the Holy Land. The alliance and competition that will play an important role in Armageddon is already being formed. The Bible says that this final battle will include not only military battles, but also spiritual battles of cosmic scale. This is a conflict between good and evil that has never been seen before. In the news, it is clear that the tension surrounding Israel is not easing, but rather strengthening. The possibility of conflict in this region is higher than ever, and the possibility that the Armageddon incident is approaching quickly is also growing. The destruction of Damascus, Isaiah 17. The night is quiet, but the sound of bombs and gunfire is getting louder from afar. The city that has existed for thousands of years, the ancient heart of Syria, is now shaking under the constant weight of conflict. Damascus, which once flourished, has now turned into ashes. It seems that what Isaiah prophesied thousands of years ago is now coming true. In Isaiah 17, we can hear a shocking prophecy. Damascus will no longer be a city, but an abandoned island. Damascus is one of the oldest cities in the world where people have lived for centuries. According to the Bible, it is destined to be completely destroyed. This prophecy does not allow ambiguity. It is a complete destruction, and the city will no longer exist as a city. For decades, Damascus has been swept away by regional conflicts. However, over the past few years, especially due to the civil war in Syria, we have witnessed that this prophecy is coming true. The city's infrastructure has been severely destroyed by air raids, gunfire, and ground attacks. The destruction is not limited to military damage. It is symbolic. Damascus has long been regarded as a symbol of local ancient power and wisdom, but this prophecy says that the destruction of the city will mean the end of its importance in world history. As the war continues, the possibility of a complete collapse of Damascus is becoming more and more realistic. Is this the moment when Isaiah's words come true? While countries are fighting for control in Syria, it is now becoming clear that the path to this final destruction is in front of us. In the book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 1-8, there are 4 skills in the darkness. Each skill has the power to bring a great disaster to the earth. The 4 skills of the book of Revelation symbolize the aspects of destruction. These skills are not simply symbols of vitality, but are the forces that will bring the world to its knees. War. The Red Horse. We are now living in an era where global tension is at its peak. Conflicts in the Middle East. A new super-powerful empire. The threat of a nuclear war is constantly causing instability. The skill of the Red Horse is a being that causes destruction through war. It is deeply related to the current geopolitical environment. Considering the scale of modern technology and military power, a global war can break out at an amazing rate. As a result, countries can collide in a way we have never seen before. A plague. The Black Horse. Recently, the world has faced one of the most destructive epidemics in modern history, the COVID-19. This pandemic has caused great damage to countries, has put pressure on the medical system, and has caused widespread fear and pain. However, the pandemic is not the only recent crisis. The possibility of the spread of an antibiotic-resistant disease or a new virus is still a continuous threat in our world, just like the Black Horse. The Bible warns that these infectious diseases will torment humanity in the last days. A plague and a crisis are coming. The world is already facing food insecurity due to climate change, food shortages, and economic instability. The regions that once relied on agriculture are now being destroyed by weather patterns such as drought, flood, and unpredictable weather. The rise in food prices and global inflation show the possibility of millions of people experiencing a plague. In many ways, the third factor, a plague, seems to be already appearing in our crisis. Death, the black horse. Finally, the black horse symbolizes death after war, plague, and a plague. Death here is not just a natural end, but a massive, destructive death caused by millions of lives lost due to these disasters. Over the past few years, we have seen a steady increase in the number of deaths caused by conflicts, diseases, and plagues. Climate change, political instability, and technological threats clearly show